guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if my voice sounds off, if I look weird, if I have a lot of jump cuts, it's because I'm sniffling, I'm sick. The fact that I have makeup on is astonishing to me considering I haven't had any on since Tuesday, so bear with me please. So today we're going to be talking about the Gabbie show. Now, in the past, if I'm not wrong, I don't think I've ever spoken about the Gabbie show. I used to watch her videos years ago and I kind of just stopped watching her content, which isn't a bad thing. I'm just kind of giving you the lowdown. I recently heard about her again with the whole thing that she became a meme.
I'm the monster that's been here all along.
And then this whole thing with Kenza happened. Now, this thing with Kenza is by no means new. Now, if you don't know, Kenza Cosmetics is a brand that essentially sells AliExpress brushes. If you don't know what AliExpress is, it is a Chinese website that sells brushes for like 1 cent each if you buy in huge wholesale. If not, these packages that you're seeing on screen now, you could probably get for under $5 on AliExpress. I know because I have. But anyway, both her and Tana were sponsored by Kenza. Now, I'm not really going to speak about Tana because what Tana did is that she was sponsored by Kenza, then Kenza turns out to be a partial scam because some people have received their orders and some have not, even after months. And so then Tana obviously doesn't address it because it's Tana. She doesn't know accountability. The Gabbie show does end up addressing it, which I was happy about because I was like, wow, here's a YouTuber who's heard of what responsibility means. And then it all falls apart. So I'm going to show you clips of the Gabbie show not taking responsibility over this. Now, I might cut between them because I don't want to just put her talking for 10 minutes. Anyway, here it is.
These marble brushes from Kenza Cosmetics, and I am including these in this video because I canceled all of my scheduled posts that I had with them when I heard there was any chance that this might be a scam, so that I could do my due diligence with this, really research, figure out what the problem was, and get to the bottom of the issue. Alright, let's talk about Kenza Cosmetics. Now, I saw somebody, or actually quite a few people, say, I'm sure she never even held those brushes in her hand, which I absolutely did, because as you can see from the pile in front of you, I ask for samples, clearing out their inventory, swipe up. It's been going on for at least a year now, so I'm not sure why Kenza Cosmetics was the one that people decided to take and run with and call it a scam. I turned down so many brand deals. For everybody wondering why I haven't said anything up until this point, it's because I was waiting to see what happens. And by that I mean I wanted to see if people ended up getting their brushes. Because as a 27-year-old woman, I like to gather facts and information and actually know what I'm talking about before I speak on something. And I didn't want to speak on something that I didn't want to speak on something that I didn't have all the facts about. I, like I said, get so many of these offers from so many different brush companies that I don't take. But when I got these samples, I actually really enjoyed them. They're very comparable to e.l.f. brushes, which are between the $1 and $6 range. For me, you're getting, I think it's 10 brushes? Yeah, it's 10 brushes for $10 shipping. It's $1 a brush. So when I got the samples, I liked them. They're soft. I said this is something that I wouldn't mind showing my followers. So I didn't speak on it because I don't want to ever accuse anybody of something if I don't have the facts. And I wasn't about to publicly accuse a brand of being a scam until I found out if people were getting what they paid for. What was mostly confusing is people were calling it a scam days after they ordered. And the website was pretty clear about, you know, the shipping times are long. I believe it said between 10 and 21 business days, and then at one point it said that you wouldn't be getting your brushes till after Christmas, since, you know, they're free brushes and you're ordering free brushes, so there's going to be a high order volume. So I was very confused why everybody was making such a big deal about not getting their brushes yet, when the website was pretty clear about not getting your brushes for a while. So I emailed Kenza Cosmetics literally immediately. And I sent them the screenshots of the followers that I was talking to, and I said, are you aware of this? And they said, we don't know why people are saying that. We were very clear on the website about it being a long delivery time. And then I pushed further. I've been in conversation with them for a couple weeks now. Ever since this all started happening, I've kind of been on their ass saying what's going on. And then all these videos start popping up about me not caring about my fans and just trying to make a quick buck. Now that we've established that it's not a scam, because it's not, the website offers a product, you pay for the product, and then you get the product. That is not a scam. I think that they're worth about $1 a brush, and that's why I felt okay advertising that to my followers, because unlike these and so many others, like these are plastic, hard, shitty brushes. These are actually very soft, movable, fluffy brushes that, in my opinion, blend very well. Now, are they these amazing, high quality, can't even believe it, great brushes? No. I also never said they were. What I said they were was free brushes, and all you had to pay for was shipping. So I'm not sure what quality people were expecting when they paid $10 for 10 brushes, and I'm genuinely sorry if anybody got their product and was disappointed in the product. But I would also add, manage your expectations a little bit, because if you want really high quality brushes, you're going to pay a really high quality price.
Now, plenty of channels have talked about this. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because accountability to me and many other rational people in the world is a little bit of a big deal. Now, the Gabbie show is 27 years old. At 27 years old, you should be able to be responsible for your errors. Most people online don't expect big personalities with millions of people to never make mistakes. That's not what I expect. That's not what any normal person would expect, because these people who have millions of followers are humans. They will make errors. It's inevitable. That's fine. My problem here is that it seems to me that in most of these apologies, whether it's beauty YouTubers, whether it's story time, or whatever you want to call the Gabbie show, it's just that it's always kind of like, sorry, but, or it's kind of like saying sorry, not sorry. And with the Gabbie show here, the problem is that she's not really actually saying sorry. She's saying, you know, like, I'm sorry if you don't like the brushes you got, but at the same time, they were only $10, so you should have expected a piece of shit.
And I'm genuinely sorry if anybody got their product and was disappointed in the product. But I would also add, manage your expectations a little bit, because if you want really high quality brushes, you're going to pay a really high quality price.
I'm not gonna fault her for one thing. I think if you're paying $10 for brushes, you shouldn't expect brushes that, you know, are equivalent to $100 brushes. However, the way the website put it was that they were clearing out all of their stock so they could have room for their 2019 stuff. So even on the website, you can see that these brush sets were supposed to be $80, $70, whatever. Now, I found this article that I thought was kind of interesting, and, you know, maybe it doesn't apply here because it's in China. I don't know what the regulation is there. However, I found this article that was talking about retailers accused of misleading customers with fake price schemes, and it talks about Macy's and Bloomingdale's, and it says that they've also been hit with class action suits accusing them of duping customers with sham original prices. The suit accuses the stores of engaging in a phantom markdown scheme and of purporting to offer steep discounts of a fabricated, arbitrary, and false former or purported original, regular, or compare at prices. Here's one of the key parts of the suit. In some instances, they represented that the listed or original price was 2 or more times the manufacturer's suggested retail price, and then offered the item at a purported 50% or more discount price, which was in fact the original manufacturer's suggested retail price. So they'll say, for example, on the website that these brushes are supposedly $20, but the reality is that they're $10. So they're gonna be like, they were supposed to be $20, but we're giving you a 50% off, so now they're $10, when in reality they were always $10, and they're selling you them at original price. It's just like it sounds way better when it's discounted, right? Here, there's a class action lawsuit. Now, this was back in 2016, so I don't know if it's still going on or what the situation is. However, this is somewhat of a fraudulent behavior if there's a class action going against this. Now, I'm not saying that their behavior is necessarily fraudulent. I think that it's morally fraudulent. I don't know if it's legally fraudulent in China for what they're doing.
What wholesale and resale is, it's when people buy very large quantities at a very low price and then they resell it. That's kind of what that website's for. It's the same as if you would walk into Five Below or something like that. It's just they were doing it through a website. And there's a lot of websites that do that. It's like the whole gimmick in the first place, and I call it a gimmick because that's what it is. They say free brushes and you just pay for shipping, but obviously the shipping is the cost of the brushes. And that's not a scam either. That's a marketing tactic. It's the same as Amazon Prime saying that they will give you free shipping if you have Prime, but if you really look at the prices of the Prime products are always more expensive than the non-Prime products. So really, it's not free shipping. They just hid the price of the shipping within the product. That's kind of the same as what this is, where they say it's a free product, you just pay for shipping, but really you are just paying for the product and the shipping together packaged as well.
The thing is this, the Gabbie show was saying how the brushes always had a price, except that the price was all put in the shipping, right? So they're gonna say the brushes are free, you just pay the $9.99 for shipping. Now, the problem is this. The reason you were saying the brushes were free is because it sounds a lot better, and then you get people to pay $9.99 for shipping, though apparently some people paid more. And that isn't directly true, because if I'm paying for the brushes, why can't you just say that I'm paying for the brushes? Like, why would you lie to say they're free, you're just paying for shipping? That's morally bankrupt and fraudulent. Now, legally, like I said, I don't know. But I think it's a little bit funny for the Gabbie show to act like everyone knew this, when in reality, you never said this when you were advertising the brushes.
Ton of promotions on my Instagram story, but this company Kenza Cosmetics is giving away their makeup brushes for free from 2018 while supplies last, and I figured it's free stuff, why wouldn't I tell you guys? All you have to pay is shipping. Here are some of the 2018 styles that they're trying to get rid of to make room for 2019. I love these ones, these marble ones. Cute with that little fluffy brushes. Yes, so make sure to swipe up because that is where the link is available.
Now, it's interesting to me that all of this comes out once this whole thing turns into a scandal. She said that she'd not think of looking into AliExpress. That's fine, I accept that. The thing is, as long as you're admitting to having not really looked too deeply into something, that's fine. Like, I think everyone will accept an apology as long as it's a straightforward and true apology. I think the issue comes up when you continue to kind of put the blame on consumers. Now, of course, consumers need to look into what they're buying, right? But the reason that Kenza reached out to you is also because they know that the people who follow you trust you and trust that you're not a scammer. So as much as it's on the consumer, it's also on you. I think the real bottom line is that I don't appreciate how the Gabbie show has tried to flip the responsibility entirely onto her audience. Of course, her audience has a responsibility as shoppers, as consumers. They need to look into it. But the reality is the way in which everything was being advertised was not truthful and was not a reflection of reality, which is in itself a problem. Putting consumer responsibility aside, the way this was being displayed, it was not okay. Now, in the links below, I'll include people who give a lot more detailed information and a lot more background as to what happened even before the Gabbie show responded and took somewhat a tiny bit of responsibility. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this. Do you think the Gabbie show should have looked into this more? Do you think she took enough responsibility? Should she be taking more? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.